One way to think about this immigration reform bill, and one of the issues I have with it is, it's a pipe, if you will. The border is this pipe, and it has two leaks in it, right? And there are two leaks. One is the border leak, and one is the airport visa overstay leak. And so we have 11 million people in this country undocumented, right? And about 40% of them have come through airports. They've come legally on visas and they've overstayed visas. And the other 60% come illegally across our southern border. So there's two leaks in the pipe. And for 10 years, 12 years now, the U.S. has been wrapping duct tape around that pipe. And it hasn't fixed it. The pipe is still leaking. And parts of this bill are just saying, let's spend a couple of billion more dollars on putting more duct tape on that leak, you know. And what we're saying is, take the duct tape off. Let's put a new pipe in place, one that can handle the water flow that's coming through, right? And so that's when we say comprehensive immigration reform. It's not trying to do patchwork on these leaks. It's trying to say, let's go back to basics. We need to remove this pipe and put a better system in place to stop the leaking, to stop the damage. The provincials would be in favor of, and this is not just something we've come up with, but that the Catholic bishops and many other groups in Washington, D.C. would be in favor of increased family visas. So in other words, people who are in the United States with visas can have the ability for their loved ones, their husband, their wife, their children, to reunify more quickly. As you may know, there are waits of 8 up to 20 years in some cases. So that's one piece that we'd like. The second is, and this is the most important one, I think, is a path to legalization, a path to citizenship for the undocumented in our country, the 11 million people, that they would have a way to come out of the shadows, to regularize their status, to become the good tax-paying citizens, because they're already being taxed in certain ways, and they're already doing great work for this country. One of the issues is, quite frankly, we've been ordering off the Latin American menu for the last 10 or 15 years, and now the bills come and no one wants to pay it, right? We've been ordering cheap produce, we've been ordering streets, we've been ordering houses, and now they're saying, well, here's the cost of that, right? And the cost of that is giving us some type of recognition, which we think is, in the tradition of this country, hard work should be honored and rewarded. One of the interesting things, I was at a hearing on Capitol Hill a few weeks ago, and I was not testifying, but another Jesuit, Sean Carroll, was testifying, and one of the people, the representatives, thanked him at the end. It's called him a pesky priest. Thanked him for being a pesky priest. I found that heartening because, in my work, I've testified not at the federal level, but at the state level, and no one's ever said that, but you get that feeling. And one of the issues has been the faith-based community has been at that table for a long time, but we've been there by ourselves. And so people have written us off as just the pesky priest, the bleeding heart. But what's heartening now is the faith-based community is there, but we're also seeing the business community start to appear at the table, right? The motel industry, the seafood industry, the restaurant industry. Instead of kind of hiding in the shadows and saying, we need these migrants to help us, our business relies on them, but they would never come to the table. Now they're at the table. And so the pesky priest, the pesky nun, the pesky parishioner, all of our work through all these years and kind of taking that beating, if you will, has paid off, because now others are coming to the table and backing up what we're saying. So it's not just Father saying it because he's very sympathetic and compassionate. It's the business community saying it because they realize not only is it compassionate, but it makes good business sense too.